It might look like I'm sitting in an unfinished Jeep, but this is actually going to be a military-grade ambulance, and it could be bound for Central America or Asia, a partner US nation, as part of a $66 million contract with AADS. African Automotive Distribution Service is converting Jeep vehicles to be used for counter-narcotics operations, border patrols and peacekeeping for US partner nations. They're powerful and can function in difficult terrain from deserts to jungles. It's a lengthy process that begins with designing and prototyping using 3D printing, building one prototype and then testing that before making the order and converting the vehicles. That part can take as little as 2 weeks, but between the waiting for parts, designing and shipping, it will usually be a year before these vehicles get to their final destination. AADS is working on 35 military ambulances as part of the new contract with the US. So what goes into creating a vehicle to be used for counter-narcotics?
It varies depending on the specific vehicle that the customer is ordering, but it's things like chassis reinforcements, axle swaps, suspension changes to give vehicle higher payload, and then we talk about body modifications that give us, we extend the body to give more space in the vehicle. We cut parts of the body off, fit roll cages, we put extended roofs, and then it's fitting all sorts of accessories like steel bumpers, ambulance equipment in the case of these 35 ambulances, stretchers, first aid equipment, all sorts of different sort of modifications that we do to meet the specific requirements of that vehicle role.
The silver vehicle is for the Italian police. It's been adapted to meet European standards as well as fitted with weapon mounts for soldiers. It's going to be used for civilian protection around government and tourist sites. The vehicles start off as Jeep Wranglers and are then adapted based on the needs of the government purchasing them. They can go from something like this to this. The US contract is the third of its kind from the Department of Defense, but signals growing reach for AADS.
The nature of this is that we don't know exactly how much of this contract will be used, and we don't know exactly what it will be used for. So the split between, for example, spare parts, training, sustainment and vehicles. But my expectation, based on what we know from previous years, would be somewhere between 300 and 500 vehicles over the next 4 years. And this new contracts open up for a lot more focus on sustaining the more than 1,000 vehicles we already have in operation for the US Department of Defense. So that'll be a lot of the focus on the new contract, and at the same time the geographical reach of the contract is increasing. So previously we would have mainly concentrated on South and Central America, and now we're becoming more of a global partner to the Department of Defense. The regions that they will be used in will be in South and Central America. It could be in Central Asia, elements of Middle East, Northern Africa.
AADS never used to do any of this work on site, but 4 years ago they brought everything in-house.
We began a process to insource the full value chain, you can say, both the IP rights in terms of all the engineering, the design, the development, the technical side of the vehicles, but also the actual manufacturing and assembly of the vehicles. And fast forwarding that to today, we're now in brand new premises in the dockyard where there's room for growth, and where the 50 people employed in securing a long-term contract with the US Department of Defense is something that gets noticed, and hopefully we can use that to further develop our relationship with other parts of the US government, but also with other governments around the world.
The vehicles they convert are called J8s. They're all tagged with this badge that carries a motif of the rock. So if you ever see one of these around, anywhere in the world, you'll know it came from this workshop right here.